Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today I want to talk about Antoine Griezmann and what he said earlier within the past 6 hours. And so we all know that Griezmann hasn't had the best season with FC Barcelona. And so he did speak with UEFA.com a couple hours ago expressing how he felt in the club. And he said that he has been struggling and lacking confidence. And when I read that in the morning, I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds so familiar because I heard about this before. And I'll explain later on what I mean by that later on in the video. So in the interview, he said, "I'm in the process of learning and understanding how my teammates play as everything is new to me. I'm still trying to read the runs and off the ball movement from the likes of Luis Suarez, Lionel, Messi and Dembele along with the midfielders. It's my intention to get to grips with this as soon as possible so I can offer my all to the team. But at times it's tricky. At present, when I get the ball, I have a certain lack of confidence in when to pass or when to shoot on goal. This I'm sure is something that will change within the passing of time." And so again, when I read that sentence where it says lack of confidence, I'm like, hold up, this sounds super familiar. And also for him to admit this makes me very worried and nervous because back in 2018 we signed Coutinho for 160 million euros. And so, you know, Coutinho looked very happy and excited, and we were very happy and excited. You know, there was a lot of lights and celebration, and he was signing the contract. We were like, yes, this is going to be the best signing ever. But when he started playing for FC Barcelona, when the season started, he was not the same player he was like in Liverpool. At times he seemed lost, out of position, gave a lot of misplaced passes, lost the ball 60% of the time. Fans were getting fed up. So a writer in Barcelona named Marcel Beltran, who works for Panenka, he said this a couple months ago. And so he said he asked for the ball and takes the main role in attack. He's a player with a personality, the opposite perhaps with his personality off the pitch. If he continues to play brave football, I don't see why he could not triumph at Barca. And then later on in the article it says the problem is that Coutinho's confidence has dipped. And then he continued on to say, everybody agrees it's a psychological matter more than a football one, says Beltran. And then I'm gonna skip over a little bit. When he returned to fitness, he found a situation totally different to before because Dembele's luck turned around. That affected him psychologically to the point where he lost his main virtues. So what Beltran is saying in this is true because it just makes sense and it speaks lack of confidence because the way Coutinho was playing on the field, he seemed very hesitant on making choices. And when you play like that, that means that you're not too confident in your decision making. And so guess what happened after Coutinho left? He was loaned out. Then we have Andre Gomez, who joined in the summer of 2016. He was bought for 35 million euros. Again, he was happy joining the club. We were pretty happy, right? I mean, like, he wasn't the best player in the world, but we saw him as like a super sub. So we were like, okay, he could be useful. He could be used as for like if one of our main players is injured, he could come in and he could do a decent job at it. But again, the same thing happened. When he started playing for Barcelona, when he got on the pitch, he was not performing well like he did with Valencia. He missed easy chances in front of the goal. He couldn't connect well with Messi and Suarez. And then later on in the season, Andre Gomez said that his experience playing in Barcelona is like hell. And so this is what he said: "I don't feel good on the pitch. I am not enjoying what I'm doing." And then I'm gonna skip over a little bit. "I close myself off. I don't allow myself to get rid of the frustration I have. I don't talk to nobody. It's like I feel ashamed. Thinking too much has hurt me. I think about the bad things and what I have to do." And so again, this is the same psychological challenge that Coutinho had. This is no different. And so you get what I'm trying to say, right? There's a pattern going on with these players, and I'm seeing the same pattern happen to Griezmann. So could Griezmann be out on his way soon? Because no player ever wants to feel like an outcast in the club. Football players in Europe would much rather be in a decent team and perform well than be in a top 5 club and perform poorly. Now, could this be Valverde's fault for not bringing out the best out of these players? Because remember, the job for every coach is to find the position and their place for every player on the pitch. Or it could be the board's fault. Could it be their fault for bringing in expensive, high-profile players and burn cash and hope something could come out? Because just because they're good players doesn't mean they'll be able to fit in the Barca system. Because then what the Barca board is doing is wasting money, time, and players' careers. And so I just think this is something that needs to be talked about between the Barca board and the Barca coach. Because this trend has to stop, and because it's costing us to compete in the highest level. And so those are my thoughts on what Griezmann said earlier. Like, again, like what he said, lacking confidence. That has been happening to a bunch of players throughout the past 4 years, and so this is nothing new. I'm just worried because Griezmann is gonna be our third biggest transfer failure in a row, and I don't want him to leave because we need these players. Suarez is leaving, and Griezmann is supposed to be like this replacement for Suarez. And so again, those are my thoughts. What is your take on what Griezmann said earlier? Do you think it's the coach's fault for not bringing out the best out of him, or do you think it's the Barca board for bringing him in the first place? So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to be uploading more videos throughout this whole week, so stay tuned. And we also have the Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund game coming up, so I'm going to be covering that game soon, and it's going to be a very important game. So I'm nervous, but also I can't wait for that game. It's going to be very exciting. Again, I'm going to be covering it here on this channel. I'm going to have a pre-match review and a post-match analysis for this game. So please like and subscribe, share the video to a friend, and so I'll see you guys next time.